Hey, what's up, you joyful bastards? I'm reading some comics in. I thought I'd talk about them a little bit. I haven't been doing too much comic review stuff. I've just been so busy with the holidays and with the Krampus project, and I haven't really had a chance to really dig into too many comics. I will talk about two today that I picked up yesterday, and they are Hulk, or She-Hulk, #1. I prefer to call it She-Hulk. And number 13 from Wonder Woman. And yes, in case you have only been watching my videos and know that I disavowed myself from DC Comics, yes, I am back reading Wonder Woman, but only Wonder Woman. I haven't picked up any other DC Comics, and I'm not really planning to for the time being. Let's start with Hulk first, and that is by Mariko Tamaki and Nico Leon. And I still haven't read Civil War 2, although I haven't been hearing the greatest things about it, but I know the basics, and I know what happened to She-Hulk during that time. She had a bit of a rough patch. She had also had a tough 2016, where she was hit by a missile, I believe fired from Thanos, and put into a coma, and when she wakes up, she realizes that Bruce Banner was killed by Hawkeye during the whole event. So she's had a rough patch, and she is back, trying to get back into the thick of things, and she apparently is having some trouble kind of adjusting. Apparently, like, it looks like the anger that she really doesn't have any issue with. That's one of the things I've always liked about the character. She's not an angry character. That's not a problem for her like it is for Bruce Banner. Although in the Marvel universe, gamma radiation apparently bubbles up what's within that person. So right now, I guess she's trying to suppress, like maybe her grief and anger, and I think it's affected She-Hulk. So she's trying to get back to work as Jennifer Walters in her human form. What's interesting, one of the things I like about this issue the most is something really subtle that I didn't notice until I read the second time around, is that she's getting ready for work, and her apartment, she normally goes around as She-Hulk, so her apartment is made for She-Hulk, and everything is like big, like the mirror is too tall for her, and she has to get a box, she has to struggle to reach up to the top cabinets, because normally that's not a problem. So that's kind of funny, and the fact that like her pajamas are way too slouchy, and this is just not the normal life she lives. Also, when she's going to work, it looks like, as she's getting more irritated, I guess, you see the panels grow more green around her. And anyway, she previously, in her previous series, had her own practice, but now she's joined another law practice, and she seems to be specializing in special cases again, like Inhumans and mutants and stuff like that. This one woman who feels like she's being forced out of her apartment comes to her, and she'll look into the case. She says she just can't leave her apartment, and you get the fact that maybe she's kind of because of her powers or something like that. There's a nice 2-page spread of her day, like having to consult all these Inhumans or mutants. And yeah, she gets home and has a bit of frustration. She is controlling herself, and for the first time, it's really disorienting seeing She-Hulk like pushing back the Hulk form, and she doesn't turn into the Hulk here. Meanwhile, the scene ends with her client talking to someone off camera in her apartment, and that person talking back, which I think is a nice, effective, creepy scene. And I've seen scenes like that before, and I always think they're really effective and really cool, and it's done very well here. If I had any issues with this, it might be the fact that I feel like what is told in these pages could have been done in just a few pages, and we could have had a little more story in issue 1. I feel like this issue feels a little bit padded until we get to the parts of the story that she wants to write. Yeah, I feel like maybe half the book could have been dedicated to what is said with this issue, and we could have maybe seen exactly what She-Hulk is trying to keep back. because I believe that like her She-Hulk form is going to be more angry than normal instead of her usual jolly self, which I've seen that kind of thing before. She-Hulk has had issues with that in the past, but she's been able to mainly keep herself together. I'm going to give this 4 out of 5 RAM chips. I think it's not bad. I think it's a little slower than it needs to be. I really would have liked to have kind of jumped into the story instead of been slowly introduced to it. So I'm hoping next issue will be a little bit more bigger pace. And also, I really don't think this needs to be called Hulk. It's She-Hulk. She's had like 20 titles with her name. We don't need... There's also another Hulk going around, so we don't need to fill that in. I don't know. I'm not sure what the explanation is, but I don't know. I would have been fine with them calling it Savage She-Hulk and returning to form. Let's go to DC with Wonder Woman 13. And, okay, last issue. This is by Greg Rucka, and let's see, the artist on this one is Renato Godiez. Excuse me if I mispronounce that. And last issue, Diana and Steve Trevor discover a huge deception. She has been lied to. She realizes when they get back to Themyscira that she has never really been back to Themyscira in reality since she left. So all the New 52 visits with blonde Hippolyta and raping and murdering and awful Amazons, that's actually all been a lie and an illusion, which is awesome. I have not been a fan of that at all. I think that's a complete misunderstanding of what the DC Amazons are supposed to be, and I always thought it was a remarkable insult, and one of the reasons why I stopped reading DC Comics in general. Although the art was nice. And Rucka just pulled that out last issue, and not to mention, this is a bad time because they're being attacked by the Poison Squad, so Steve has to kind of pull Diana, away, escaping from the squad, because, in the immortal words of Peter Venkman, she has gone bye-bye, and is kind of not there. So she's kind of having trouble processing the issue. Meanwhile, these people, by the way, are working for Veronica Cale, who is a kind of like a Lex Luthor type of villain that Greg Rucka on his original run created, and she is back with a vengeance. I assume Rucka had much more to talk about with her, so she's barely been used since he left the book, so I'm excited to see her back as well, because she's a pretty believable, evil, awful, terrible shit villain. So I'm happy to see her back. Of course, Steve and Diana are rescued by his team, and they leave her at a mental ward and trying to do it under an assumed name to keep her hidden from the people trying to kill her. So this is not a great time for her. I'm very curious to see how she was deceived and what happened to her. I'm also going to give this 4 RAM chips. By the way, if you're curious about checking out Wonder Woman at any time, maybe this might not be the best issue for you, because you'd be wondering, well, what the hell am I doing? It's definitely a chapter in this longer arc, and actually, it's the end of the lies, and the story of the truth starts next, so we'll get to see exactly who created this illusion, how did it work, and was she going to some kind of parallel to reality or something like that? Nonetheless, I'm excited to see it back. So yeah, I'd say 4 RAM chips for both of those, not too bad. So what did you, the viewers at home, think? You can leave me a comment or a like below. Don't be a stooge. You can subscribe if you like, if you've never seen me before. And don't forget, I have links below where you can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, and also check out my books like Red Knight and Divita. They're at the bottom of the video. Well, I think that's it. This might be my last video for 2016, so I'll see you next year in case I don't. Push the button, Lindsay.